Hey guys, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist. I'm creating a video every day for a year. This is video 290. Thank you so much for being here with me. Today I wanted to talk about what is your biggest fear? What's holding you back from being your new self? As we talk about a lot on this channel, old self to new self. What do we need to change in order to become the new self? And I've been thinking about this a lot lately in my own life and in my clients' lives and just kind of thinking about it. And I think a lot of times some people say, oh, I have a fear of failure, or oh, I have a fear of success. And I don't even think it's those things. It's just we have a fear of becoming truly powerful and possibly, if we accessed our full power, what would happen? Would we implode? Would we explode? I don't know. So I implore you to start thinking about what would happen if I actually accessed my full power. I went all in on myself. What would happen? Go all in. What would all in look like? Are you half in and half out? Or are you, dipping a toe in? Maybe you're 20% in and 80% out, and you're never going to know how you're doing until something shifts. Something's got to shift, and it has to be mental first. Life is happening mentally. Life is mental. Life is everything in the mind first. It is created in the mind first. And we're creating ourselves in our mind first too. And so we have to get very curious and not judge ourselves. Curiosity over judgment. And what does that look like in your life? How often do you judge yourself instead of being curious? Instead of saying, why the heck did I do this stupid thing? Versus, I'm going to be curious about this and just kind of wonder why I thought this when I could have thought this instead. That might serve me more than judging myself or berating myself or abusing myself. I get really big with it. I'm like, oh, that's self-abuse. We don't want to do that, especially if we've been through abuse before in our lives. We don't want to continue to put ourselves down. You don't deserve that. Don't do that to my friend. Don't do that. You got to stop today. So it requires a lot of self-awareness. There's nothing more important than to be self-aware, aware of everything that's going on around you and inside of you. And everything happens internally first, remember, and there's no one to change but self. I don't know how many times I have seen in my own life and in others' lives that have told me over and over. They'll say things like, well, my partner does this, and then I'll see somebody else say something to them, and they'll listen to them, but they won't listen to me. You'll hear things like that. Or you'll hear things that just, they happen over and over and over like that. And once that person shifts their belief about themselves, then their partner all of a sudden starts listening to them. It's crazy. So life is happening through you, not to you. We're creating our lives from our imagination, from our perception. Everybody is a version that we have created of themselves for us to experience. So it's super cool to look at these rascals and say, what are they teaching me? What is this ball of energy teaching me? This blob of energy teaching me about me? And get really curious instead of judging the situation. And you go inside your mind and you get curious and you say, what must I believe is true about me for me to feel this way right now? Or, I wonder what created this situation. I do that a lot. Like, I wonder what happened here. And then sometimes you don't even need to really know. Sometimes you can just say, oh, well, I feel this way. What do I prefer to feel? And in the moment, you just change your thought about that thing that's happening. And sometimes it's not going to do any good in that moment. Sometimes you're just in the spiral. You're just down there. And then you do it so many times, though, and it will start to shift. And to me, it's better to just do it in the moment than let it keep going and going and going to where your whole mental state goes back to just crap, So it's up to you to pull yourself out, and you can do it. And it just takes some awareness of where you're at mentally. Where am I at? What am I thinking? I've been telling people all day, study the way that you think. Study your thoughts. What am I thinking all the time? What am I thinking and why am I thinking it? And then as I'm thinking these things, what are the beliefs that are underneath these thoughts? What is under here? What programmed me to think this way? What happened to me to condition me this way? And you get to decide to recondition yourself every moment. And you've got to keep yourself accountable to that. You get to design your life any way you want to, but you have to be the one that decides every day. You have to decide every day. It's not just, oh, I make one decision and then I'm done. You have to decide every single day that you want to be different. And it takes persistence. And you can do it. You're worth it. You got to first believe you're worth it. And I think that's where people fail. They'll start something and they'll be gung-ho about it and they'll be like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then something happens, that old belief system comes up out of the graveyard. Just comes up, rises out of the grave and says, here I am. And no, we've got to decide every day that no, I got to remind myself I'm not thinking that way anymore. I am choosing differently for myself. And so you have to be conscious of what you're thinking on a daily basis. You know, why am I thinking this way? And do I even want to think this way anymore? That's another thing. And watch those underlying emotions that are there that, you know, you might feel it in your body somewhere. You know, where does that come from? And you have to persist. You have to keep going no matter what's going on around you. And remember that the stuff going on around you doesn't matter. Circumstances don't matter, as they say. So the circumstances are there to show you where your thinking is, what you're believing on a daily basis. People get so exhausted, I think, from trying to manifest and trying to feel better. I'm really trying. I'm trying to feel better. I'm trying. Don't try so hard. Here's something I'll give you too from this email, of course, that I got from Abraham Hicks Publications for March 11th. It is, I got to get different glasses. These are just not good up close. I got to hold the phone out. Okay, so listen to this. This is a good one. Let this calm you a little. Nothing needs to be fixed. Everything is unfolding perfectly. Let's stop there for a second. What if nothing needs to be fixed? What if everything is just fine the way that it is right now? Everything is perfectly unfolding, right? How does that feel? Really feel that. Nothing needs to be fixed. Everything is unfolding perfectly. Trust the flow of your life. In other words, trust the flow. Trust your flow, not anyone else's flow, your flow. So when you stand in your now, accepting that all is well, so you got to accept all is well. All is well. I accept it. Accept it. Truly accept it. Then from that vibration, you become surrounded by more and more evidence that all is well. Pretty cool. But when you're convinced that things are broken, that there is pollution, or that things have gone wrong, or that the government is doing conspiracies, that fits with today, doesn't it? We won't go into all of that. There's a lot going on in the world right now to distract us. I'm just going to say that. That's it. Then what happens is you get caught up in that vibration and you begin to manifest that kind of stuff. And then you say, see, I told you that things were going wrong. So there's a lot of opinions on this, I'm sure. But there's a lot of things going on in the world. We can call those things distractions, okay? So I feel like a lot's going on in the world right now, and this could be a whole nother video, so I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I did have a conversation with someone today about this. How I feel like everything that's happening right now is, Bashar actually said there was a great reset starting from 2020 to 2050. Again, won't go deep into this, but 2020 was interesting. And then we're going all the way to 2050. And I feel like we are experiencing such a great breakdown right now. And we're seeing some truths that were, once in the dark. Now they're coming out into the light. We're seeing, with more clarity. And it's to direct us back to ourselves, our power, our internal power, our hearts. We've got to connect more to our hearts. We are always angry and fearful today and not trusting the flow of our life. We've got to go back to our heart, back inside ourselves, where the power actually lies. It never was outside of us. Everything is in you. All the answers are within you. Your body knows how to heal itself. Your mind knows how to heal itself, no matter what's going on. And so we get too caught up. We jump out of our bodies and we go and we try to fix things outside of ourselves. If you can start to practice saying, all is well, nothing needs to be fixed, everything is unfolding perfectly, and I trust the flow of my life. I had someone say that to themselves today. I trust the flow of my life. What if I, and if you don't believe that, play the what if game, like I mentioned yesterday. What if I could start believing that the flow of my life is perfect, that everything is happening at the perfect time, that everything is orchestrated perfectly. I need not worry about anything, nothing. What if I could start not worrying about everything that I've always worried about? What if I could not worry at all? Wouldn't that be awesome? Just think about these things. We've got to start thinking that way, because this old way is not working, is it? It's really not. And it doesn't feel so hot, you know? We want to feel great. We want to create this awesome mental state as like a foundation to create the life that we want. You can be, do, and have anything you want. And if that's the case, then we got to start somewhere, right? We've got to start with a good foundation. We've got to remain self-aware. We've got to learn, where are my thoughts leading me? Why do I have these thoughts? It all starts with the thoughts, the belief systems, the thought systems, and those underlying core beliefs that you have about yourself. If you believe in scarcity, then you will have scarcity. And it will show up. You'll see it. Look at your life. Your life is telling you what you're thinking. That is what is so cool. It's telling us what we're thinking. It's telling us the state that we've been in, the state that we've been practicing for so long. And so it's just got all the answers right there for you. And then watch what happens when you shift into a different mental state. Watch what happens externally. I love to do this. I love to feel good. That's what I know. That's about all I know. I say all these things. We don't know the truth of anything. We really don't. You just take what I say, whatever you like, the gems from what I say, go practice, experiment, become your own evidence. You always want to be in your own experiment, always. You're always in the lab. You're always there. So enjoy practicing. And you'll see what happens. It's so fun. I love to feel good. I love to feel peace. I love to get myself from, if I'm in a low state of mind, I love to pull myself out of that hole. And it feels so good to do that. And then it starts to feel powerful. You start to trust yourself more. So it starts with maybe a what if. What if I could start feeling better every day? What if I didn't have to think the way that I've always thought? What if I don't need to be scared to get into a relationship? What if I don't need to be scared to quit my job and go get another one? What if I never need to be scared of anything? I think fear runs us. Fear really runs us. What would the people think? What would happen if I did this? Oh my gosh, it's just fear running us. So get back into your heart. I had another client today, I said, put your hands on your heart, maybe for 5 minutes a day, and just breathe into your heart. Visualize white light going into your heart, or whatever feels good for you. Just breathe into your heart and really feel it. I think we're being instructed by everything around us to go back to our hearts, because once we're in there, we can't feel anything that doesn't match love and appreciation, thankfulness, joy, abundance. We can't perceive anything outside of that energy if we're creating it. And to help the world, we've got to help ourselves first. We've got to be the leader, the example, be the change. And when you decide to be the change, watch what happens. It's so fun, so cool. I love to feel good. Just start saying, I love to feel good. I love to feel good. I'm addicted to feeling good now. I don't want to feel bad ever again. If I start to feel bad, I'm like, oh, yuck. I can't do that. I can't handle it. I don't want to deal with that. But where did that come from? And then I always get curious. I wonder why I thought that. Where did that even come from? Study yourself. There's nothing more profitable for you and more valuable for you than to study yourself every single moment you remember to. And I'm your reminder, and I'll be here for you throughout the journey, of course. So I'll leave you with that, or I'll go on for another hour. Someday I may do that. I'll just go on and on and on. I don't know, for anybody who wants to listen. But tonight I'm ending this because I'm going to bed early. I have an early day tomorrow. Well, every day is an early day. That's okay. So I hope you all had a wonderful day and a wonderful evening and all that. And if you're under a tornado warning, be safe. We've had some tornadoes around here the last few days, and I know in other states there's a bunch of tornadoes, and just be safe and take care of yourselves, and remember to tell yourself that you love yourself, and remember you are so loved. Pass that on to anybody who needs to hear that. Please share this with somebody who might benefit from the information in this video, and please like and subscribe if you'd like to. Love to have you with me, and on the road to 365 videos. Whoa, can't believe I'm at 290. I am in shock. It's crazy. Anyway, and remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.